being an actor, you can be a chameleon. You know, you get to live so many different lives. It's an incredible feeling.
We can keep going, man. We can take over the goddamn world.
Feel a little gust of wind and I'm dead. Believe a memory, no one will be forgetting. So as I leave, believe I'm stomping. But when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of town.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
This is like the breakout performance of the year. How did you get this part? It feels like you came out of nowhere.
Well, I had been day playing in New Orleans for a little while, but it was nothing big enough to like change my life or pay my bills even, you know? It was just really something I loved and that I just stuck with. So when I did have the chance to read for Eazy-E, I told myself if I got the chance to do this, that I would try to knock it out of the park. I read with a lady named Megan Lewis. It took them maybe like 3.5, 4 weeks or something like that to call me back. I'll never forget, I'm at work on the line, and they're like, Gary would love to Skype it with you. I'm like, really? All right, cool, you know, so I'm there like trying to hold my composure together, but I'm like, I think I got this. So I go the next day to do the Skype session with him, and it was 1 hour and 17 minutes. I'm not even gonna pretend like I didn't know, you know, the story exactly, but I booked it right there.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Hey, that was dope, eh?
He told you right then and there you had it.
You know what's crazy? He actually never told me those words at all. They called me back like after we did the chemistry reading. It was like, so we're gonna fly you out for a photo shoot with Gary, Cube, and you know the rest of the guys and Dre. And I was like, so did I get the part? They were like, nobody told you? I was like, no. They was like, yeah, well, you got the part. I was like, oh, thanks. So I was waiting on the boom the whole time, and there was like no boom.
You said you got the call at work. Where were you working?
I was working at a place called Mr. Ed's Oyster House, and I was an oyster shucker there and also like a line cook during the day. Me and like a couple of my friends, we were all like hugging and crying and jumping up and down. It was crazy.
You're a pretty young guy, so I mean, how much did you know about NWA and Eazy-E?
I'm actually a huge Bone Thugs and Harmony fan, and that was one of the groups that he created. I wanted to kind of know the essence of who he was.
Maybe none of us should be worried. Maybe we should be happy.
What you mean, eh?
I don't know about you see, this right here is a gift.
It's the FBI, what you talking
This is free publicity for NWA.
He was a marketing genius, and he figured out how to take himself and sell that. He knew exactly what people wanted. He wasn't afraid to say certain things.
You cannot come down here and harass these guys because they're black.
How'd you like sharing scenes with one of my favorite actors, Paul Giamatti?
Paul is my Tom Brady. That's the best way I can describe Paul. The thing about Paul Giamatti is that he don't know he Paul Giamatti, you know? So he comes with this respect for the craft every day. And they have so many organic moments in the movie because the day that Eazy meets Jerry is the day that I actually met Paul Giamatti. And they just kind of threw him into it, and it was completely blowing me away. Like the level that he made me rise to. I was like, yo, it's crazy. Paul's so good.
Well, I'm the dope man, yeah, boy, wear corduroy. Money up to here, but unemployed.
I remember the night that we got back from off like the European press tour, and I took this walk at like 3 o'clock in the morning to Times Square and just stared at this billboard, and I'm like, this is incredible. This is really strange that it's like me lighting up on this board, but I still didn't feel different yet. So I fly to New Orleans, which is my hometown, and literally the first gas station I get out at, there's like 30 or 40 people taking pictures, hugging me, and to know that I was that type of inspiration and people were waiting on that moment as much as I was, this hug that I got from my city was just so, like, the ultimate.
And what's something new that you discovered while working on this project?
I think that the universe does what it does. And sometimes you gotta let go and let God, because you never know how a situation is gonna turn out. So many people thought this was gonna be a VH1 film, and it snowballed into something completely different. And it's bigger than a performance. It's bigger than a writer, director. It's hard to see the whole puzzle when you're just this little bitty piece and you're like, I'm awkward shaped. But you fit somewhere into it. And sometimes you just gotta go with the flow.
Straight out of Compton.
Click to the left to watch our conversation with George Miller, or click to the right to watch our conversation with Paul Dano. And don't forget to subscribe to Variety's channel.